a lot of people in the fitness space are messed up in the head. A lot of bodybuilders too, because you have that emotional connection to, I have to look a certain way. Exactly. And when I don't, like, no one's going to love me. You look amazing on stage, and then 2 days later, you don't look like that. People say to you, well, you don't look like this no more. And I'm like, I don't. Like, you're right.
Did you pick like a particular coach to help you throughout the prep?
My coach is the coach of the athlete, Sid Gillian, who won the Miss Olympia for the last 7 years.
Okay, what about,
Oh, Lord.
Another scenario. So, your partner telling you what you going to the gym for. Who you trying to get sexy for.
Right.
And they home being a couch potato.
Yeah.
Like, how you tell that person to navigate that situation?
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Fanatic Islanders, your home for sports and sports entertainment. We are here with you for another Sandbar Sitdown. We have a special guest in the building today. We have Miss Dekel Quant, a.k.a. Bowflex Barbie. How are you today?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
It's good.
Yes, I feel like there's a good number of people who know you are, but just to get more insight, would you like to tell our audience more about yourself?
Sure. So first, again, thanks for having me.
No problem.
So my name is Dekel Quant, also known as Bowflex Barbie. I am a fitness instructor, fitness enthusiast. I've been in the fitness space on my personal fitness journey since I was 14. Full-time as a fitness coach and in the fitness industry as a professional since 2017, but I started dabbling in training others in 2012. I got the nickname Bowflex Barbie from a college friend in 2010, so it's not original. I cannot take credit.
It's a good one, though.
It is. It's stuck.
Has Bowflex actually tried to come to you?
They have, yes.
Really? No. Whoa.
A little bit.
I was wondering about that.
Not like... So I've had to make some changes in like the way that I use the name Bowflex because of copyright from the Nautilus brand, the people that make the machines.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had a little hiccup with them in marketing with flyers and stuff, like through Facebook ads and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've got some stuff flagged and had to make some adjustments. So yeah, a little bit. But I got the nickname in 2010, right when like Instagram was just like starting to take off too. Mm-hmm. Twitter was the big, which is now X, was the big spot at the time. And my friend nicknamed me it I was on the way to the gym and he asked me where I was going. I said to work out and he was like, okay, Bowflex Barbie. And I was like, I like that. So it stuck.
Okay.
And when I started getting into training, I just kind of kept it. I made it my social media handles at the time. And then when I started doing like classes, I called them Bowflex Barbie's Boot Camp. And then it just kind of stuck. So yeah, now I do in-person training, online training. I have a fitness app, fitness merchandise, YouTube. And then I recently launched an activewear line with my best friend called Gym Skirt. So we specialize in fitness skirt sets
apparel,
for women. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Oh, and I'm a competitive bodybuilder.
Nice.
Recently.
No. It's more than that.
Recently turned professional. I've been competing since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I really started going to the next level serious, I would say, in 2019. The first few years, I just was like, okay, I want to train for something because I've been training since I was 14.
Yeah.
But I set out with the goal to become pro, like seriously in 2019, I would say.
Okay. All right. So with that, like, is your sight set on something like Olympia, or how far do you want to take it?
I would be lying to tell you that I don't want to go to the Olympia. It's a big goal. But yeah, I mean, I think any pro athlete that's active on the pro circuit will tell you Olympia is the goal. Like, yeah, make some money. Of course, make some money in the circuit, meet some cool people, go to some cool places. That's on my list too. Work with some of the brands that I want to work with. I always meet a lot of great people through bodybuilding too. So traveling to different places, new places, is big on my list. But yeah, I want to step on the O stage. Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. That's a good thing. But I usually like to say a lot of the time that bodybuilding is kind of an extreme sport in a way.
It's very much an extreme sport.
Yeah. So take me through like your prep process up to your competition to where you got your Pro God.
It's extreme if you're not in the fitness space, I would say. The biggest change between someone that's just training for, or the biggest difference between someone that's just training for a lifestyle to be healthy and fit versus bodybuilding is the diet. The training itself, for me personally, doesn't change too much. I do a little bit more cardio when I'm training for a show versus not, but the actual workouts themselves don't change that much. The biggest thing is the diet. It becomes a really restrictive, really repetitive, really boring. You know, it's not exciting. You're eating the same foods, just about the same foods every day for 12 to 16 weeks, depending on how long you prep.
Try chicken breasts, rice, some broccoli.
You know, I think people are like finding ways to be more creative now too, like within the restrictions. So, you know, you find ways to make it as exciting as you can while you can, but towards the end, it is just kind of like you lose that connection with food. Like you don't eat food to enjoy it. You just eat it because, you know, you have to. Yeah. At least that's how I get through the last couple of weeks. It's like, okay, I'm almost there. Let's just do what we got to do and finish it. But yeah, it is. It can be extreme in that sense. Like, I think if you're someone that your lifestyle, if you're a social person, you kind of become isolated in bodybuilding. And that could be hard mentally, right? Because you're not going out every weekend drinking. You're not going out to dinner. People are inviting you out. And you got to be like, well, I can't go. Yeah. So this year, this show was a little challenging because I did a 16-week prep. And in that 16 weeks, I turned 30. So I celebrated my 30th birthday. My husband surprised me with a trip to Costa Rica. And of course, I did not eat prep food in Costa Rica. So, you know, I had that little week window where I was loving myself, you know.
Yeah, man, got to.
Had some, you know, drinks, some food. Then he celebrated a birthday a few weeks after me.
You celebrated that as well?
Yeah. That was a little shorter. That was only a weekend. Okay. What else happened? We celebrated our anniversary. We didn't go off the rails for that because it was really close to show. Yeah. So we delayed the celebrations till after. But, you know, stuff happens. People came in to visit. I had other projects. I launched the activewear line in that time span. We had Bahamas Fit Fest, our fitness retreat, in that prep time span. So there's a lot of stuff happening, plus my regular work schedule. So it can feel extreme when you're juggling a lot of different stuff. If all you're doing is prepping for a show, it may not be as. But when you're balancing, you know, everything else, for me, it was business, it was work, it was relationships, celebrations, all that stuff.
I mean, you could look at it in a way to where you feel like that kind of made it easier because you have more to do than others who are probably competing. So
I honestly I like being busy because it takes my mind off of like all the things I can't do. So I actually like it. I mean, it had its moments where you feel like it's draining, but and that's natural because you're at a caloric deficit for so long, so your body is actually tired. But I like keeping my mind busy, so I'm not at home just like thinking about all the things I can't do. So it did have its benefits, yeah.
All right. So did you pick like a particular coach to help you throughout the prep?
Yeah. So I've been working with the same coach for the last 3 years. My coach is actually the coach. So I'm in the figure division. My coach is the coach of the athlete Sid Gillian, who won the Miss Olympia for the last 7 years. She won her 7th consecutive title this year. So
wow.
He knows his stuff.
How did y'all come in contact with one another?
So, I mean, because he is her coach and has been her coach for the last, I think, 10 years. So she's been to Olympia more than 7 times, but she's won the last 7 years. So they actually met at the Olympia 1 year when she didn't, before she started winning. And and so he started becoming, he's not big on social media. He gets on social media once a year, maybe, to post a photo with her when she wins. But a lot of his athletes tag him in, you know, when they do shows and stuff. And so people that I follow in the space, I saw them tagging, you know, this guy. And so I'm like, who is this guy? Yeah. Then I did my research and I was like, oh, this is her coach. So yeah, it was really easy. I reached out. They have a whole like team. So it's a team of them, about, 10 coaches. And when you inquire online, you get to select like who you want to work with. And they do a consult with you. And so he's actually based in Arizona. I met him last year at one of my shows. He actually came to help me like on show day. So that was really good. But he has athletes all over the world and he's at shows like almost every weekend, if not every other weekend. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, I've been working with him. He's really good. I love that he's professional. It ain't no fluff. It ain't no extra stuff. It's just like, this is what we doing. This is the plan. I check in with him every week. And
Get it done. Yeah. So I know you said that the diet is probably the most hardest part. You can handle all the workouts, but how is the posing and all that? Because I know that's difficult for a lot of people, and that's why they don't usually
It's practice. Like, no matter how long you've been doing it, you got to practice posing. It's conditioning, not just like nailing the actual poses, but the conditioning for your body when you get on stage. I will admit I'm not the best with practicing consistently. I practice like the last 4 weeks.
Okay.
But you're supposed to practice like straight through prep. But I find it hard to pose until I can actually see like all the lines I want to see, because I feel like I just stand there and I can't see nothing. So I feel like it's not as effective, but it really is just like getting your muscles used to holding the poses. So if you ever watch bodybuilding, you see like people get up there and they start shaking. Shaking uncontrollably. That's usually a sign that they haven't conditioned their bodies to hold in those poses long. And sometimes judges can be ruthless and have you hold in the same pose for long. And so like you gotta practice, like we practice minute holds for each pose, and reality is most judges will make you hold them maybe 20 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
But when you practice for that minute, your body's like used to it, so you're relaxed and you don't look like even though you are squeezing every single muscle in your body, you don't look like you dying, you know? Like people start sweating, passing out. Like
that's what I be looking at.
If your body's not conditioned, like it'll happen. So and you start getting cramps. So the posing is important for obviously the presentation itself, but also just making sure you don't look like you die and that you don't actually, pass out and have serious issues.
I be looking to see the veins pop, and I'm like, is that person going to be okay?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember at that point when you're on stage, you're like depleted. For some people, they stop drinking water. I don't, but some people have like no water in them.
Wait. You can't skip over. What you mean you still...
I drink water, yeah.
So you don't do the sips, or you just...
Well, so up to... Some people stop. I had a coach that would, when I first started competing, he would tell me stop drinking water. If my show was Saturday, he'd tell me stop drinking water from Wednesday.
And you was in down for that?
And literally, well, I did it because he was my coach. So I was like, you know what your stuff, so I'm going to stop drinking water. And I would literally, like, if my mouth was dry, I would chew gum. I would suck on ice cubes, or like you said, if I had to take pills, I would take like a mouthful of water. That was all I was drinking. Like, I wasn't chugging back like ounces of water. But the coach I'm with now, like I drink water up until day before show. It's like we do a water load and deplete. So let's say my last show was on a Friday. So Wednesday I had 2 gallons of water. Tuesday I had 2 gallons of water. Usually I have 1. So this is like double what I would usually have a couple days before. And then show was Friday. So Thursday I had, half a gallon or 3/4 of a gallon. And then I had like a sip.
More. Yeah.
I had a sip in the morning, like coffee in the morning, a little bit of coconut water in the morning. And that was it. So I didn't feel like I was dying versus,
you sure?
I mean, I had all that water. I had 2 gallons of water from Tuesday to Wednesday, Sunday to Wednesday. I had 3/4 of a gallon on the Thursday before. So just that morning of, and at that point you're just like, and the show is usually early, so you start doing stuff from, 5:30, 6 a.m. So I had coffee, I had a little bit of coconut water in the morning, and I was good. Yeah.
You sure you ain't just mentally tougher than the regular person?
No, I will tell you, versus stopping drinking water from Wednesday and doing that, it's a big difference. Yeah, like you just feel like, you feel dried up, like, which is not a good feeling. So, yeah. But some people, I know people that don't. They'll stop drinking water 2-3 days before still.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, if I don't have to do it and I still look, I don't see why my body looked different or better if I stopped drinking water versus still drinking it. So I'm like, why would I stop?
Yeah. So I don't blame you there, but seeing you on stage, I'm pretty sure your clients see you and they're like, how do I look like that? Like, I'm pretty sure they need to get to a place where it's like, you got to do this for yourself. Everybody different and all that stuff. But when they tell you, how do I look like you? How do you respond to them?
I usually tell people, like, unless you are actively preparing for a show, you are not going to look like a bodybuilder. Like,
fair. Yeah.
I would not look I would not, unless you are actively preparing for a show, you are not going to look like a bodybuilder. I would not look like a bodybuilder. And I don't look like, I won't say I don't, but I don't look like I'm stepping on stage if I'm not actively getting ready to step on stage. Like, I have a competition season, I have an off season, and they are 2 completely different looks. And people tell me, all the time, I want to train like I'm going to do a show, but I'm not going to do a show. And I say, you are not going to do it. Like, mentally, there's a whole different place in your brain that you have to access in order to tap into that mindset of training for the stage. Like, you could say you want to do a watered down version of a prep, but even then, like, you ain't gonna be as hard on yourself or restrictive. And like, it's hard. So that's why I personally don't train at the moment. I don't train people for the stage because I'm still competing and I know how much it takes out of me to personally get myself, even though I have a coach, to get myself through a prep. I'm like, I can't imagine adding other people's prep stress on top of mine. Like, because I know how much it takes to have to pour into people for that. And I'm like, I don't have that in me. So when people tell me that, I'm like, if you really want to do it, get a prep coach. I could help you with your training, which some people do. Like, I know professionals, amateurs that have a prep coach and a personal trainer. I'm like, I could be your trainer. I could help you with the workouts.
But you need a prep coach.
If you actually want to do a prep, like, I'm not the person to take you through a prep. Like I said, that may change in the future, like when I step away from the stage and I could put more into the other person. But it's stressful.
I can tell.
So I tell people that you don't really, if you want to look like a bodybuilder, you're going to need to want to step on stage, like, and be actively preparing to step on stage. You can't, like, halfway.
It's the only
step.
choice.
At least in my experience, I've told myself as a bodybuilder, like, I'm going to do a mini prep to get ready for this, I don't know, photo shoot. It never happens. Like, I'm like, this photo shoot ain't worth it.
So I got to stick to the business.
So, that's what I would say. Unless you plan to step on stage, like, I would say aspire to have a body that is, the process of getting there is enjoyable.
Okay.
The process of prep is, a lot of it is not enjoyable. I would say all of it isn't. Some of it is, but for the most part, it's not a super fun process. So I tell people, like, I would say aspire to have a body that the process doesn't feel like you die in, and like something you could actually sustain, because the bodybuilding prep is not sustainable. Like, you go through seasons.
Because I don't know if you been keeping up with Larry Wheels. He did like a competition recently, and it was like after like 2 days or so, he gained like 40 to 50 pounds.
Okay, no, that's unhealthy.
He was like, just eating a bunch of stuff, and
he's a bodybuilder, like an actual bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's an actual bodybuilder.
Okay, well, I mean, there's be. But a lot of that is also because you manipulate water, you manipulate sodium so much. A lot of that isn't, I mean, some of it I'm sure is fat, but a lot of it is like your body just, after going through all that restriction for so long, you open up your stomach to like all the things you were restricting for 16 weeks. Like, your body's gonna be like, what you doing to me? So, I mean, it's normal. Like, for me, usually within a couple of months after stage, I'm back up, 15, 20 pounds. And like, I'll kind of cruise in that space until I go back into prep. So I tell people, competitors usually find a range they try to stay in. I've gone outside that range quite a bit in my early years. Same thing, just eating every and anything after the show. And for women, it's even more delicate because our hormones go out of whack, right? So, I mean, you just got to find, like, some people try to stay within 5-10 pounds. I ain't that person of stage. I'm up 10 pounds in like 4 days. So no, that's not me. But it depends. And then, like, depending on how soon your next show is and like how close you want to stay to being stage ready, that determines it. But so it's, 40 pounds in 2 days is aggressive. But for a bodybuilder, I guess, like, someone that has all that size on them already anyway. I guess that's not too outrageous.
I guess so. But I gotta ask, like, where is this drive coming from? I feel like there's always another business venture for you. Like you said, you have Gym Skirt, you do your classes, you have clients, you have your own like workout plan, you have all the videos online for workouts, you compete. Where is this drive coming from?
I think I grew up in a family business. So I grew up working in a very like hands-on. My dad does event rentals in Freeport. So at 12, 13, I was out there putting up tents with the guys. Like, he always kept us busy. Like, and in his business, you don't really have off days. Like, the weekends are busy, and then through the week is prepping for the weekend. So I don't know. I just think I'm good with being busy. When I'm not busy, and my therapist told me that's a bit of an issue, but when I'm not busy, I feel like
you need to be doing something.
I feel like I feel guilty sometimes. I'm learning to be better with it, but I'm also doing things that I enjoy, right? And a lot of my projects connect. So you'll find like I'm doing like off the like stuff that isn't in my space. I do stuff I enjoy. A lot of the stuff that I do are connected. And thankfully, like the health and fitness space, almost anything can connect to it. Because, your health and fitness is the foundation for like almost anything you do. You got to be healthy in order to be successful or to be your best self for any project or any event you take on. So a lot of things I do, I enjoy. And a lot of times just a natural evolution too. Like I try not to force stuff just because it's like, oh, this is the thing that's happening now in the fitness space. Like if I'm not interested in it,
it's kind of hard sometimes.
I stay away from it. Yeah. So even like the athleisure or athletic wear stuff, it really was my friend that pushed it. And I kind of came in as support for it.
Okay.
And I'm like, sense. I really want to do something with my friend. We've always talked about doing something together. And it just kind of naturally happened. It wasn't forced. It was just like she had this idea one day. And she shared it on social media. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, like, let's do this for real. And she was like, you serious? And that's just kind of how it happened. Yeah. So it wasn't anything forced. But people have been asking me like, oh, why don't you do it for years? And I'm like, I don't really want to. Like, I have no... And I don't want to just do it because, like I said, because it makes business sense or, it could be profitable or, I want to do it because I actually enjoy it and because I can't be the one doing all the work. Like, I won't be doing it and not enjoying it. So, yeah, a lot of things is really just, I enjoy the process. I like business too, so... I guess, again, coming from a family business, I like the process of having an idea or a concept and like bringing it to life. Yeah. Especially tangible things, but also like virtual stuff and programs too. Like putting all that work into something and then having someone go and spend their hard-earned money on what you've created and your idea. I think that's always a fulfilling part for me too. So that keeps me too. And then the community keeps me accountable. They're like, yeah, we need more videos. We need more. Like YouTube, yes, YouTube is vicious. With workout videos, they be roasting me. Like, yeah, you ain't post nothing in 6 weeks. We waiting. I'm like, all right, I got y'all. But yeah, man. Yes, I think that's just it. Like, I do what I enjoy. And I actually like the process of like creating things.
Cool. What I also do like about your platform, and I should thank you for this actually.
Wow.
Is how open and transparent you are.
Really? I think I'm a very private person.
I feel like, I don't know, ever since you launched your Flex Pretty podcast, it seems like you...
Oh, yeah, the podcast, I'm a bit, yeah.
Like that first episode when you talked about, I guess, the loss of your mother and how that kind of brought your family together to push forward. Because I know, I experienced that feeling as well. In college, I lost my sister and my father, so...
My condolences.
Yeah, me too, to you. And yes, it comes to a point where it's like you mourn and then you either go down a path that is positive or negative. It usually isn't something where...
What do you feel like pulled you through that hard time?
I would say probably...
Flipping the interview questions.
I see that. But anyways, I'd say getting more connected with my mother and then just finding things to do. Like I went to the gym as well.
Okay.
I went to the gym. I pushed... I had to take some break off from school because I was like, man, I could fail if I stay in school. I'm like, yes, I could fail. And then I played football with my other coach, Cadero, and that just helped me to do everything that I needed to do to get back on track. Like even I was terrible in football. I was like, I had to relearn how to catch and all that other stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just pushed forward. And when I heard your story, I was like, she talking to me, Jared.
Yeah, I think a lot of people could resonate.
Talking to me, yeah.
A lot of people resonated with that. I've told that story a lot over the years, and a lot of people say they can relate, even if it's not through the gym that they found that space. It's some other outlet they found that helped them through. So yeah, I mean, okay, I am a little transparent on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good one, and I appreciated it, and I felt like with that, it also help people as much as it does with your workouts and your programs. I feel like people are like, okay, I see that she is personal. I can actually
I'm someone outside of the fitness coach. Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of a therapist too. What's going on here? I didn't expect
I
that.
Not take that road.
No, not the extreme level, but with your podcast, you could just talk to people like how you do with each of your guests and all that. And I feel like that brings more relation to the viewers as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was that was the goal behind it too, like getting women from different walks of life that the viewers, especially women that are watching, could see themselves in. So I had like a range of new moms, you know, people in the wellness space, coaches in the wellness space. Who else I had on there? Anyway, you saw some of the people. So I tried to get a range of people, younger, older, so that people could see themselves and relate and like feel like, okay, I'm not alone in what I'm going through. Or if they've made it through something, they have that appreciation as well. So
yeah, and I even see them say, "Oh, I actually connected with you through your workouts." Like the ones you posted online, they're like, "Okay, I see her there. So how do I get in contact with her so I can have a conversation?"
Yeah, I actually had a couple years ago, 2 years ago, these ladies from North Carolina that have been doing some of my step workouts on YouTube. Okay. They hit me up. I got an email one day and was like, "Hey, we want to come to the Bahamas and like film with you. Like, can we do that?" And I was like, yeah. So like they came, they made it a whole like vacation, like they stayed for a weekend.
Yeah.
I picked them up. We filmed 3 workouts, and then of course they were like super excited. They shared it once it went live. They shared it with like everybody they knew. And then a year later they came back for a Bahamas Fit Fest.
Okay.
So it's just like, it's interesting to see how people come into the community and like the different places they touch, or you know, the different points they touch. And again, they spend a good amount of money getting flights and hotels and all that.
I'm sure it was worth it. I'm sure
too. They got a deal. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I think I'm appreciative for all the people I've been able to connect with because of the platforms, and like people in the weirdest places. Like people be leaving comments that I can't translate because it's in like completely different languages, and I'm like, I never thought when I started that would be. It just was like, oh, possible. This makes sense. Yeah, like I'll do it because I'm already like filming videos. Like why not do YouTube? But it's been really interesting and really humbling to see like how far the reach has gone.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about the video where you even got in touch with Cardi B at some point.
Yeah.
She's trying to be humble now, humble bro.
So yeah, I that whole experience was wild. That was 2021, I want to say. 2021. Okay. What year are we in?
2023.
Yeah, so 2021. This was still, we were still pretty, I wouldn't say pretty deep in COVID, but we still had like testing, regular testing to fly and all of that too. And this is when I think she had just won the Grammy for WAP. And then Up had just got #1 on Billboard. So she was in like a real winning season. I got an email from this random person who I found out obviously was a manager. And he's like, hey, I have a client coming in. We're staying at Albany. We want training for 2 weeks every day. And I was like, who is this? So of course I do. Before I even respond, I like searched his name up online, and I found out he was the manager at the time for her. Okay. And he had worked with like Drake, Lauryn Hill. So now I'm thinking like, who is this client? Yeah. So I told my husband, and he's like, oh, it's gonna be Cardi B. And I was like, no, I don't think it's gonna be Cardi, because she don't strike me as someone that wants training twice a week. Like she can go and get surgery. Like what? she in, and she's open about her surgery. Like she don't strike me as someone to do it. So he was like, yeah, it can be her. I was like, whatever. So I wrote back. I confirmed some of the dates I was away. I was in Vegas with my friend, my same best friend I started the clothing line with, by the way. Yeah. I was going to be in Vegas with her for a couple of days. So I told him the dates that I could do. And he was like, okay, perfect. I've worked with Albany for a while when I first moved. So I was familiar with their managers and stuff. So I reached out to them to see if I could get into the gym. Mm-hmm. That fell through because they were like, well, unless you plan to come and work for us again or work with us again, we can't let you use the gym. So I was like, okay, no problem. Wrote back to the manager, and I was like, well, I could bring my stuff to the condo. He was like, yeah, that's perfect, no problem. So we set it up, and on the flight back from Vegas, I get the Wi-Fi, I get on my computer, I start sending emails. I'm like, okay, just confirming, because I was supposed to start with them the following day when I got back. Yeah. And still don't know who it is. Still hasn't told me who it is. He just kind of told me what the goals were, whatever. So when I'm on the flight, I get on social media and I see her posting on the beach, and I was like, hold on. I look at the video again, too much sense. And I see Albany got these orange umbrellas, and I was like, this like I got Albany umbrella. So I was like, oh my God, this probably is her, but I'm training. So got there the following day, parked, sent the guy a message, and he was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to send you this form. And on the form, it had personal training, Cardi B. And I was like, okay. Like, this is happening. Yeah, so it was a cool experience. She's definitely not as like loud as and like out there as she portrays. Yeah, I trained her for 2 weeks. So the second week, she kind of started to warm up a bit more.
Get more comfortable.
Yeah, get more comfortable. But yeah, it was a cool experience. She was really receptive. It was actually her first experience with personal training.
Oh, wow.
And it's really cool now because I see her, she's in Atlanta now, and she's like doing a lot of training with like different coaches and going to different gyms. So I'm like, it's actually cool to see like that I was her first experience. She was actually pregnant at the time too. I don't think she knew. Because when she left, she announced her pregnancy a couple weeks later, and her manager said they were supposed to come back because she was recording her album.
Oh, wow.
And that's why she was at Albany recording her album at the studio there. And yeah, so obviously she didn't come back because she found out she was pregnant. And I was like, I feel like that's something you would tell your trainer if you knew that you were pregnant. So
you feel like she knew
from the beginning?
Yeah, okay.
I don't think she knew because she probably was only a couple months along.
Yeah.
She wasn't showing. So I was like, when I saw a couple weeks later, she announced it. I was like, what?
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it was cool. Party was there too. Not training, but like I saw him a few times.
Oh, Lord.
Partisan Fontaine. He walked it. Like, I guess he was there. Like, I'm assuming helping her write in the studio and produce. But yeah, it honestly, I tell a lot of things, like cool things that happen to me don't feel real in the moment. Like, and so now that it's past and I could not talk about it, but, and I've sat in it for a while. I'm like, yeah, that was cool.
That happened. Yeah.
I trained Alicia Keys while I was there too. Well, while I was working at Albany.
Okay.
And then I don't follow baseball, so this isn't super exciting, but Justin Verlander.
He's a cool guy.
I didn't really train him. I was paid to literally set up his workout and break it down.
Oh.
So he had a workout sent by his coach, and I just had to like set it up.
Oh, wow. So with training guys, how is it different? Like, do they feel like kind of intimidated? Like, what happens?
No.
Is there a difference between that and
guys? A lot of times the ego lifts, so they don't like to fail at stuff. Which it works out for them because they're not going to tell me no, they can't do it. So, but a lot of times when they approach me, it's because they want a female trainer for whatever reason. Some of them just, like I said, they know their ego won't let them. If it's you training them, they can be like, I ain't doing that, but like come from around it. But if it's me, they're like, they ain't give me that pushback, right? Because I showing them I could do it. I'll take the weight and do it. I do a couple reps, and so they can be like, well, if you could do this, I have to be able to do this. So.
Wow.
But I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give them a weight that I know they can't do, right?
Yeah.
Or if I see them struggling in the first 2 reps, I'm like, okay, we got to go down. But I think for them, and then it's just like knowing that I know my stuff. Like it ain't like I don't know my stuff. I look like I know my stuff, and I actually do. So yeah, I've not had any. I mean, at one point, I actually had more or close to the same amount of men on my personal training like roster as women. So,
okay.
I mean, with a name like Bowflex Barbie, I don't typically attract like male clients, and they're not I wouldn't say they're my primary client, like the client that I'm going after. But I don't turn away if they do come and they want to train. I don't turn them away. And
okay.
Yeah, I think they appreciate my approach. I'm not like a yell in your face and like scream at you and talk to you bad and like rough you up type of person. I'm like, no, this is the workout. I can push you and encourage you through it, but like, yeah, it ain't no bunch of like, I don't know, beating the chest and like I ain't slapping you up and like I ain't doing all of that. So
hype you up.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I would say, I think for a lot of guys, it's like that desire to impress too. So yeah, they don't want to look bad, especially if I just do the same weight, you know?
Exactly. Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, but I haven't had any like challenges with training men.
That's good.
For the most part, they talk less in the workouts.
I can see that.
For the most part, like I feel like my ladies, like we be going whole hours of a conversation, which is it's fine sometimes. But
even between guys, we'd be like, yeah, we could just talk about what actually happening in the moment.
Yeah.
It's limited emotion.
They don't talk as much. Yeah, I mean, when they get a bit more comfortable, I have a few. When they get comfortable, they'll talk more, or they'll talk to try to duck the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even when we talked to our significant others after guys' night, it's like, what you do? We hung out.
Yeah. We know.
But yeah, is there like any wish list or anybody you'd want to train going in the future?
Rihanna.
I mean, she popping. I don't know what the limit is on them babies. So
She have 2 or 3?
she have 2, I think.
She has 2 now, yeah.
I don't know when she can stop, so I don't
She
know.
says she's still pregnant.
What?
Because they say she was pregnant again.
Oh, I have no.
Lord.
I have no.
She have an Irish twinsy.
I don't know.
Does she just have to be? I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The first baby came like immediately. The second baby came immediately after the first baby.
Not immediately.
Well, like a couple of months.
Yeah, she took a couple months.
But
That's not immediately.
Rihanna's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, but I she's like she's a top one just because I respect her and I admire her as a businesswoman and like the fact that she's authentically herself. Like I like so. And then she Caribbean. I'm like, let's link up.
Trade ideas, build together.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say her. I want to work with Meg too.
Okay.
I know she's in her fitness bag right now too, so she would be cool.
former client of yours said different.
Oh,
Who?
Lord.
Was she in a fitness bag? Who?
If you heard, I know.
He talking about party. That's what's happening here.
Oh Lord! I know he was not a client of mine.
He was just there.
He was there. He was helping a former client of mine with her
Okay.
studio stuff.
Okay.
I don't know nothing about that man.
Fair enough.
He's saying something else. Why, when she got on fitness bag. When she got like liposuction or whatever.
I believe it. I mean,
That's what it is, I guess.
I
don't
believe
know.
it. I feel like all the time is get stuff done. Like
Yeah, but I mean, if you're working out, you're working out.
I know with Cardi's thing, it wasn't even an aesthetic thing. She was like, she felt her age, which I mean, she ain't old, but she's like, she had to feel her body like changing and like she like not feeling healthy. And she's like, you could get liposuction and suck fat out of you
Okay.
to body to look better, but you can't take fat from around your organs, and improve your health. So that was her thing. She wanted to actually be healthier and feel better because
So-
she said she could go in under the knife, and she open about going under the knife to get stuff done. So
Actually, let me ask you a question. How you feel?
oh Lord, I feel like I know what this question.
Yeah,
go
me too.
ahead. Go ahead.
I might have asked it too. Coming up.
Go ahead.
How you feel? Because this is a running joke where they say a lot of female trainers and a lot
Getting
of male
work
trainers
done,
get
yeah.
work done.
Oh.
And say, oh, I do all of this and get this body, but it's like, man, you better that.
Here's the thing. I have no problem with anybody getting work done.
Okay.
If you want to get work done, you have the means to do it. You want to feel better, look better, go ahead. What I have a problem with is when you're not transparent about the work you've done. And you try to, like you said, you try to pass off that you've built the body you have through your programs, and you're trying to sell people on this this dream of they could look like you through following your programs when you don't look like you through following your programs.
Exactly.
That's the problem I have. If you're transparent, I've seen people in the fitness space that have had work done, and now their goal, I've seen at least 2-3 pages that do it. Their goal is to help girls that have had surgery maximize their results.
Okay.
So they're transparent. I've had work done. There's a girl I follow on TikTok called the Fit BBL, and I'm like, I could dig that because she is on a fitness journey. She's been on a fitness journey. Genetically, she don't have the build to get the shape that she wanted.
Yeah.
So she got surgery, and now she's continuing to work out to maximize her results from surgery. So she helps girls who want to have surgery go through the process of selecting their doctor. She helps them once they've had the surgery go through recovery and how do you now train so you don't have to go back under the knife in 6 days because not 6 days, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When people take one to get the surgery, they don't think about the rehab.
Yeah.
after surgery.
And the maintenance, yeah.
Because you do have to work out because
Yeah.
Not just that, you gotta get the rehab to where they be pushing.
Yeah,
out the different
your body.
fluids.
Yeah, and your body's not. If you genetically you were built a certain way, and now you're not built that way
it's fighting
because of
against it.
yeah, your body's gonna fight you and the fat is gonna try to go back to where
Yeah.
it naturally goes. So you gotta, they talk about having to keep wearing the shapers and, like you said, do the massages and the flush and all of that. I'm like, that's a lot of work. You might as well just work out. But
Say it again, sister.
But my thing
But
is,
I do get it. Genetically, everyone is built differently. So some people start their weight up top, some people start at the bottom, and a lot of girls want that.
yeah.
store the weight at the bottom. Like naturally, some people just don't have it. And so no matter how much you work, how much you try, genetically, you may not get that. And I think as a fitness coach, you have to be real with your clients too in that way. I tell people all the time, they come, but I want to look like this. And I look at them and I'm like,
that ain't possible.
No. They're like, can you help me? And I'm like, no, like this is not your structure. Like, and even if I can, if they have the structure, I'm like the size and the amount of muscle that person in this picture has, it can take you about 4 or 5 years to get there.
Yeah.
And they ain't interested in that. They want it in 4 or 5 months.
Exactly.
They think just after one workout, they're going to have 4 or 5 years with the training.
Yeah, and I'm like, people tell me they want to look like me. I'm like, y'all, I've been working out 15 years. Like, I can just start. So even like getting into bodybuilding, I had a little leg up because I had a bit more muscle maturity than someone that was just starting to compete. And I'm like that. And even that, I still had to work for years to get to the pro level, right?
Yeah.
And for numerous reasons, because I'm a natural athlete too. Like I don't do performance enhancing things, which is not very common in the bodybuilding space, even for women.
No, it's not. Not even in Olympia. Like I feel like everybody does.
They are trying to, and I will say that. So the show that I did a couple of days after I earned my pro card was a natural show. Okay. And it was a natural Olympia qualifier.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
they are trying to bring those more on stream because they understand people are abusing, especially women. Yeah, they're abusing them and they're causing health complications and stuff. Like it's not making the sport as attractive as they want it to be, right? Yeah. So they are pushing, natural athletes more, but at the end of the day, you want to be, people look at it, I want to be competitive and I don't want to wait 5 years to be competitive. Yeah. So, and I tell people, you still got to do the work, regardless whether you are natural or not. You still got to work, but obviously to shorten that time that you know, what's going to take me 5 years may take someone 2. Yeah. If they are. But yeah, I think you just got to be real with like what you want and how long it's going to take, like, and then decide, okay, is it worth it? Like, if it is, then that's the route you take.
Yeah. And even what you were saying, like you have to still put in the work. Like I feel like some women, the ones who like always used to work on like, oh, I still can't get the body I want, get the surgery. And then it's like they ease up in the gym. And then they might let themselves go in a way.
Yeah, and then they got to go back under the knife again. Yeah. But it becomes a cycle. I think, like I said, I have nothing against, like I scared of any surgery that I don't have to have.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
That's my reservation. But with surgeries, but I tell people like if you have the means to do it and you feel strongly about it, like it's your body, like go for it. But like you said, like I tell people inform any decision you make, health wise, like be informed about it. Like do your research on the befores. Like what are you going to be doing before? What you got to be doing after? And like be real. Like are you willing to? And can you afford? Like a lot of times people can't afford the recovery that comes with like these cosmetic surgeries because they are expensive. These massages, you got to do all these massages. You got to stay in the place you do it for however long.
Like
yep.
Yeah.
So it is expensive too. And I'm like, if I had my way, I would tell them like invest that money in just like building the best body that you could build with what you got. Like,
okay.
That's my advice. That's my 2 cents.
Let me ask you a question. So what do you say? I always have this conversation where I tell people like you almost, in your health journey, you almost have to find the diet for you. Because everybody has, you could try this type of diet and this type of diet, but there's like, you have specific genetics and you got to understand like what works for your body, you know, and someone can just give you some like
cookie cutter plan.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's in general, there's healthy foods. We know that like whole food that's typically the right route to go. Now, when it comes to like something as specific as bodybuilding, are you on this like extreme fat loss or weight loss journey? You got to become that broad group of like, okay, this is what's healthy. Now you got to cut down, okay, this is what aligns with my goals. And then from that, you got to break down, this is what aligns with my goals and actually works for my body type. And for like, I know for some people, like you could say broccoli, broccoli is a vegetable. Broccoli, for the most part, is healthy. But my body does not digest broccoli great. Yeah. So for me to say I can eat broccoli every day, like it ain't gonna work. My body's not gonna digest it. I can be like bloated and I can be feeling bad. Yeah. So I got to find something else that has a similar nutritional value as broccoli. It's going to give me the same benefits, but it's not going to mess up my digestion. So it's similar to that, but that takes time. You got to eat it to figure it out. Yeah. So I agree. You got cookie cutter plans typically And there's a lot of people in the bodybuilding space that do this. Like, they just give you a chicken and rice and broccoli
Yep.
4 times a day. And you will likely see some results because it's whole foods. It's healthy food. But when it comes down to training for something super specific, like, you have to figure out what food groups work best for you, what doesn't work for you. And then, like, so what aligns with your goals. And when you're looking at the context of lifestyle, not so much getting ready for a show, can I sustain it? Because...
Yeah, that's true.
Like you said, like, you gotta...
Is it a healthy way to live?
Is it healthy? Is it sustainable? Am I still eating stuff I can enjoy?
Yeah.
Am I able to go to dinner with my friends? Am I able to have a drink and not, like, blow everything out the water?
Exactly,
So
yeah.
I think, it's a combination of, like, I'm eating for my goals, but I'm also enjoying the food I eat, and I could do this for the rest of my life. Like, other people, I could never do keto. Because I love carbs. Like, I eat carbs every single day.
I don't even know if I could do a diet.
Every single day. They're like, oh, this is the next best diet. This fasting. And I say I wouldn't call them bad diets. I say it's only bad if you can't sustain it. If you could only do this for the next 3 months, like, don't do it. Because you can lose the weight and then what happens?
Put it right back on.
Yeah. So, I just, like you said, you got to find a diet for you. What works for you. What you could sustain. What has foods that your body digests well, that work well with your body, that help you get to your goals, and that don't feel like torture.
What are your preferred foods for you specifically?
Are you talking about healthy foods or, like, just in general?
I mean, let's go with both.
All right. So prep foods. I eat rice every day. So
Same.
I do jasmine rice on prep and off prep just about every day. Veggies, I'm not a big veggie person. So I recently got back into roasted broccoli. That's the only vegetable I ate for the last, like, year.
Wow.
No, I lie. I do like lettuce. I've been eating the salad, lettuce, kale, spinach, but I very rarely I'll cook it. Like, if I go somewhere and they have it on the menu, like, I'll buy it. But to say make a kale or something, no.
Yeah, I don't mess with kale.
What else? Carbs, other carbs, I like sweet potatoes. That's really all I eat for carbs. Rice and sweet potatoes, like, healthy. Proteins, I do chicken, fish, turkey. I like me a good grouper. My last couple weeks of prep, I have to do fresh fish, but you know, grouper expensive. So I have to, like, mix in grouper and, like, a little bit of snapper.
Okay.
Before that, I would just do tilapia, which is not very fun, but it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's rough. No red meats.
I'm actually not a big red meat fan. Not that I am against it. I actually ate a little bit today for lunch, but I don't cook it that often. So if I go out somewhere again, I may order it or, like, pick off my husband's plate. He usually gets a good steak. But I used to eat it when I first started competing. I used to eat it more than now. But yeah, mostly chicken, fish, turkey.
Okay.
Unhealthy foods. I eat pretty much anything. I like a good burger. Sushi. Sushi's probably, like, my top. Like, if I could splurge on stuff. It's just, you know, when you find your places, you just stick with them.
Exactly.
That's me. Sushi, burgers. I'm not a big pizza person, but if someone buys me a pizza, like, I'll eat it, you know? Yeah. If someone orders pizza, like, oh, you want a slice? Like, I can eat it.
Like, why not? It's pizza.
Yeah, fries. I like a good wing. You know, crispy, a little spicy. Like, now you can get me hungry. But yeah, like that's pretty much, like, I'm gonna eat out. I typically eat sushi, or I don't do a whole lot of fast food. If I want a burger, I want to go and get, like, a gourmet, a nice big, you know, where they put the egg and all that good stuff on it.
A lot of people ain't graduate to the egg yet, so, you know.
It's
a lot of people didn't graduate to that.
It's an experience.
Especially, like, if it's sunny side.
Oh, that's the only way to do it.
That's
Where you going with any scrambled egg on a?
That's what they want.
Nah.
I want to know.
Me too. I won't eat it. Oh no, I'll eat it on avocado toast too. Yeah. Well, like, that's also like a sandwich. Yeah, I probably wouldn't eat a sunny by itself.
No.
I'm actually not a big egg person, which is crazy because bodybuilding, we eat a lot of eggs.
Protein. Yeah.
I, like, force myself to eat eggs, but I would eat it on a burger. I a good safe Chinese place, you know. Good safe Chinese order.
Safe Chinese.
Boy, I mean, I know I still get that
get
MSG.
Gotta get your kind to the house, man. I know.
I know.
Something I don't know, but yeah, you get your food afterwards, But let's go back to something more active, I guess.
Because food is, I mean, I think the whole point of fitness, right? Like, and your fitness journey when it comes to lifestyle is that you should still be able to eat these things that you love. Like we call the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you're on your regimen. 20% of the time you should be able to let your head out and enjoy the foods you love.
Your cheat day.
Most bodybuilders tell you they love food. Like it isn't they do bodybuilding because they hate food, or people in the fitness space. We love food. We could eat. That's why we got to work out because we love to eat.
I think that I'm not even a bodybuilder, and that's why I work out.
Yeah, you and it's not so much earning your food, but like you love to eat, and you want to make sure you're putting all these calories you take in, and you're not eating these stuff back to back every day.
Yeah, unless
you're the bodybuilder that put on 50 pounds in 2 days.
He different though. Yeah. That place be lifting all type of stuff.
So I think just having to control, like, okay, knowing how to plan and prepare, and like, okay, if I'm gonna splurge for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, like. Maybe leading up, I'm not going to have all these junk. I'm going to be more tight on my like healthier foods.
Plan around it.
Yeah, plan around. I think that's the big thing for like people in the fitness space. We try to plan for our like splurges and indulgences. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy life. Like, what's the point of having a good body if you can't enjoy it? Like, you're miserable eating. You get to use it. Expand.
Yeah, I want to know too. I gotta figure out what you're trying to say.
Let's say you are a little bit more spry and limber.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not like just being active.
You use it.
Yeah. And then you can go on photo shoots. You can take your shirt off when it's time.
Okay. Yeah, but you're miserable. Like, if you're miserable, that like I think you still need to have that balance.
Yeah. Because I feel like some people actually like that misery as well. So that's
because there's been cases where people become like big gym heads because they quit some other addiction. So now this is
a lot of people in the gym are fighting things, and I have a friend that's she's a psychologist and a trainer.
Okay.
So she tells people personal fitness and the gym is not a replacement for therapy, but you got a lot of people that are in the gym trying to replace the need. Like, it's going to help you. It's a therapeutic environment. And it's a therapeutic tool, but it's not therapy. It's not a replacement for therapy. Yeah. And I was like, that stuck with me because I was like, for the longest I thought, the gym is my therapy.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, no, Dekel, you need to take your butt to actual therapy. This is not a replacement. I've been in the gym for a long time, and it has helped me and been therapeutic, but it ain't therapy. So, I agree. Like, a lot of people in the fitness space are messed up in the head. A lot of bodybuilders, too, because you have that emotional connection to, I have to look a certain way. Exactly. And when I don't, like, no one's going to love me.
Dysmorphia.
No one's going to love me. Yeah, body dysmorphia, but even just the mental... and I get it. Like when I first started competing, I struggled with that. Like you look amazing on stage, and then 2 days later, you don't look like that. And like people say to you, "Well, you don't look like this no more." And I'm like, I don't. Like you're right. Now I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like I've learned to deal with it, but I know people that struggle. They try to stay stage lean year round because they don't want to not look. They don't want to not look like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like.
They want it to be eternal,
I mean, for men, that's safe. For women, it's under 10% is like you have issues because our bodies aren't meant to go below 10.
Yeah.
So a 10 on a woman is probably like a 5 on a man, like 4% on a man.
Wow.
Yeah. And they say actually that's not sustainable.
Yeah, no, it's not. Like on stage, you have women that drop a little below 10 for that like one day, and then usually by the next day, they're back. Like they have to put it back on because you start to have hormonal issues and other stuff going on. So because we're designed to carry children, and so we need to have a certain amount of fat to
do that.
But
okay. Do you feel like that also comes from your competitive nature? You said you play sports. What does your sports background look like?
Honestly,
were you the one who wanted to destroy the other team, or you were just
I honestly
competing?
All my feedback, I played collegiate volleyball. So I played at all sports in high school. I played collegiate volleyball in Missouri for 2 years.
Okay.
And all my feedback from my coaches used to be I need to be more aggressive.
Really?
So I always thought I was a very laid back athlete. My husband on the other hand would tell you I am a competitive person. I don't want to lose. And maybe I grew into my competitiveness, but he says he thinks I internalize my competitive nature. Like, I want to win, but I won't be like in your face. I ain't in your face, like talking smack and all of that. But
you calculate it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I don't see myself as like overly competitive, but I do know I have a degree of competitiveness. I don't think it's extreme, but I think naturally we all do, though. I think everybody wants to win. Like, I don't think anyone's just like, oh, I'll go with the flow. I'm not going to say anyone, but
I agree.
I think most people want to win, and they just may express it in different ways. I think I'm like a medium on a scale of low, medium, high. I'm like a medium level of competitiveness.
Okay. But even like in the health and wellness field, and then growing so quickly in the Bahamas, that's becoming a pretty competitive space. And even with women, it feels like y'all more competitive than men.
Is it competitive or saturated? Because that's two different things.
I ain't say it.
The health and wellness space. I don't think it's super competitive. I think it's saturated. I think because
elaborate.
I don't feel like it is now, but I think
she's more directly into it too. I want to know. I don't want to know what you mean by that.
Everybody was trained. Everybody had this certification and thing.
What I mean by that is there's different. I honestly believe there's a clientele, there's a niche, there's a lane for everybody. Okay. And look at the stats of our country. There's more people that need training than there are trainers. So I don't want to. I gotta be calculated with my words. There's different price points for training as well, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a trainer that'll charge you on the low end. There's people charging $25 a session.
Okay.
I ain't charging $25 a session. So I am not competing with you for your client that wants to pay $25 a session. Yeah. You got me? Okay. So I think in that too. And then people they know, an Instagram trainer versus we all know an Instagram trainer. Someone that looked like they work out. They probably played sports their whole life. Got in the gym. Genetics are on their side. They look great. They know they have a formula for looking great, but they don't know how to share that. Yeah. But because they look the part, which I am all on board for like looking the part in the fitness space. I think it's a very aesthetic driven space. There's a difference between looking the part and knowing your stuff. Yeah. And so you have a lot of people that don't know their stuff, and it's just a matter of time before the people that work with them realize that. And so I do agree that it's saturated. I do agree that there's a level of competitiveness in it. And I've worked with and I've reached out and I've tried to work with people in the space, especially women lately. But like you said, women are we a little different.
Y'all different? I know, but why y'all don't like each other? I don't know.
I don't know. I like everybody. I ain't got no problem with nobody. And I work with women in the space, especially like I have I would say a soft spot for people that are just getting into. Like I have a few ladies that reached out to me they want to get into the space and like they want some guidance. Okay. And so like I tell people I'm the first, like people have this assumption that I'm not going to help or I'm not gonna assist, but I'm like, no, like I want to be that person that I needed when I got into space. And like nobody gave me any, I figured it, I took years to figure it out. Nobody gave me any guidance. Like the little guidance that I got was from people internationally that maybe because they didn't see me as competition or a threat. But I mean, I think there's more than enough clients for everybody. I think everybody has their niche. Like what's for me is for me, what's for you is for you. Mm-hmm. And I see nothing like if our actual goal is to help people become better, like we could do more together.
Exactly. Like, I feel like even if it's just friendly competition, I feel like that's needed to help.
Yeah, you need options. Like I tell people I don't want to work with everybody either. Like I've turned clients away. I have fired clients. I'm like, I will refer you to somebody else. Yeah. And I have a network of people that I reach out like, hey, do you have availability? Like I have someone that wants this time, or like I can't. There's windows for training, right? Yeah. Which is why I got into the online space too, but I can't train everybody that wants to work with me, and I can't train everybody that I want to work with either. So, like, if I have a network of people that I could refer to, like, that's not going to hurt me. Whereas some people just would be like, no, I don't have it. Good luck. Yeah, find somebody else. I ain't referring nobody.
I don't really, I
don't know. I think it's just, we call it the black crab syndrome. Like, we want to see you doing good, but not better than us. Yeah. I'm just like it doesn't take anything away from me or from you to help someone else get a leg up. Like
exactly.
Like at the end of the day, like what's for them is for them, what's for you is for you.
Like even like I said with your journey, I can see the way you onboard people to what you're doing. Just like how you said with your friend, y'all did your apparel line. Even with the podcast, you like help to propel people into the space, like who just started or who you got to know along the way. And that's good.
Yeah, don't take nothing. I need the content too. Like it's an exchange, but
yeah.
You know, a lot of times I do have the bigger platform, but it's still their story is valuable, and they're gonna connect to people that I can't connect to. They still have an audience that, whether it's smaller or not, like that I may not have reached without them too. So it's still a exchange, and they see the value in it. I see the value in it. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. But we have one more question there. If Justin doesn't have any more questions, are you thinking? I know something good coming.
Just a little messy over there.
Yeah. I waiting on it. That's why I asked.
Oh, Lord.
I think that's around because it did feel like, for me, when I came back home in 2017 and started working out locally and looking for a trainer, it felt like it was a bunch of new trainers. And I was like, okay,
they just have the title. Trend. They just have the title trainer.
Like, you know, at the back in the day, everybody wanted to be DJing for tournaments.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be a trainer now. But what is your suggestion on decreasing the diabetes rate and overweight endemic that we have in the Bahamas?
Yeah, it's a heavy question. I actually worked as a consultant for the Ministry of Health in 2019. We ran a pilot program with, about 200 people, free program for the public. They signed up online. We had free fitness classes across the island, at least 7 a week. We had health coaching. They were accessible to health coaching, nutrition coaching. We started with 200 people. Maybe 50 people finished the program.
Wow.
Completely free. But I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
it's definitely a culture. It needs to be addressed at a national level. And I know the ministry is working on it. The work may not be as fast as we would like to see it, but I know they have stuff in place and they've been going through processes to try to implement some sort of national wellness programming. I do think it's a cultural issue. It stems from education. It stems from access to these things that they need as well. Yeah. But when we talk about access and you look at the program we did, you have the access, but obviously there's a disconnect between having the access and the desire to actually change.
Taking action.
Yeah, taking action. I think it's at an educational level, there needs to be more done. It's a lot. It's such a loaded question. There's so many angles you could take it, but I think definitely addressing it from what's the word I want to say? From a cultural aspect, our culture is designed and the way that we utilize food. We use food to celebrate. We use food to mourn. We use food and the types of food it's directly linked to diabetes, non-communicable diseases like cancer, and these are illnesses that, yes, while they have some genetic, some genetic ability, but for the most part, they're lifestyle diseases. They could be prevented. They could be avoided through changing your lifestyle. We eat a lot and we don't move enough. That's our culture.
Yeah.
Speak to that lifestyle diseases, because many people think sugar in my family. They think blood pressure in my family. They think, what else is we say it? Kidney failure and all this stuff. And it's the diseases aren't genetic. The information is genetic.
Yeah, the lifestyle is genetic. Yeah. You grow up eating Sunday dinner as a lunch every day for years. What do you expect? And you're not moving. You're not working out. You work out maybe. You do keto for...
Not just that. And you drink until you can't drink no more.
Well, that's also culturally.
That's different right now.
If you go out and you ain't drinking, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, look at your strange. I'm I messed up my whole Friday at work because I was fine drinking for a while, and they ain't even going out during lunch no more.
You kill the whole vibe.
Yeah, they're wait, what's going on?
How dare you not drink?
Exactly.
So I think, people think, it's genetic. But if you take a step back, like you said, it's a lot of times sometimes it is genetic, right? a few, I would say out of the 5 cases, 1 may be genetic, right? But there's also ways to ensure that even if you have a history of these things in your family, like that you don't have to die at a young age. You don't have to be on medication for the rest, like for your entire life, because it's still a lifestyle influence disease. So even if it is hereditary or it's genetically in your family, like the way that you cope with it and manage it is still linked to how, if you feeding it or you fighting it, right?
Yeah.
So I just think like our culture is primarily structured in a way like that feeds these diseases. Like we know the excess fats and like frying things and
do you feel
all the good stuff that we love to indulge, but we indulge way more than we should, and we see it as this is a normal meal than like we loving ourselves a little bit on a Sunday, like
doing too much.
Because we going and getting
2 meat for sure.
2 meats, 2 sides. Who's 2 for me?
I don't know where that is. E-balling.
Hold on. If you have chicken, ribs, then you have fish.
I ain't got all
and
that.
then you might have
a little bit of pork or something, man.
little pork or something. Or like shrimp in the rice. Or pork in the rice.
Conch in the rice.
Or both.
Or conch in the rice.
Or both.
Yeah, so it's like you having 4 meat. Well, we know that's a rich plate, but everybody...
That's a very rich plate.
Yeah, you different, man.
but people be eating...
That's a Christmas plate.
Christmas plate, Thanksgiving plate, year round. And
some people doing that for real.
I know the 2 meat. I know people that do the heavy lunch. That could be a dinner. Like, that could be a dinner plate. They do that every day for lunch. I mean, my husband used to be 300 pounds, and he said for himself, like, he would eat from the lunch lady on the side of the road, that, like, heavy food, just about every day after eating 2 Wendy's sandwich in the morning.
Falling asleep at work.
And then going home and having another big, like, so he's like, I know it's not uncommon, and people just see it as, I gotta eat. I'm hungry. I gotta eat. So
yeah, but that's how much calories it is.
That's enough calories for like 3 days.
Yeah, like.
But yeah, I think it's an educational thing. There has to be a connect between realizing where you are and realizing that where you are is setting you up to get these diseases.
Yeah.
Right. Realizing that even if you do have them or they're in your family, that you could manage them if you make better choices, having the desire to then make these better choices, having the guidance or access to the guidance, and then actually doing it.
Yeah.
Like, and all of that has to be a process. Like it isn't going to be done in a year. Like I think from the government standpoint, it's going to take time to implement the policies, right? But I think as a fitness wellness community, like we have the platforms that could help educate and motivate and like, get people at least starting to start that process of actually realizing where they are and where they are feeding or fighting these diseases, and then giving them as much as we can as far as like tools, whether they're paying for it or like just through following our journeys and following the journeys of our clients, like having them realize they could change from where they are and like get on that path to where they need to be. So yeah.
I have one more question.
Oh Lord.
I want to ask this from the thing as well first. You said y'all had that program for the 200 people. I was wondering,
it may actually been more than that, but I'm thinking it was 200.
Yeah, I was wondering if that might have been probably a bit too much for them at the start. What if it would be somewhere where we just start with like one simple step where it's like, okay, you're at work, 1 o'clock comes, everybody take a 15-minute break, you walk around, do whatever, and then you could come back and do your work. What if we start with like one simple step?
With who?
But I guess just everyone just make it like a mandatory thing.
Like how was it Spain? They sleep at a certain hour?
Yeah, stuff like that. Like I think it's like a few like
I think
Fortune 500 companies that do like fitness stuff.
They are. I worked with a company here a few years ago that did an internal program for the entire company, and it was very like steps driven. You had to like, in order to get points, you had to do a certain amount of steps per day.
Okay.
They had fitness classes for them too, and that was actually really successful. And like for the most part, the employees bought in. It was a 6-week program. They bought in for the entire 6 weeks. They were competitive, right? And then they was also winning money at the end. So yeah. I think if there's an incentive, and that's how we are, right? We're incentive driven for the most part. Like we want to feel like, aside from being healthier, we want something, we're going to win something else, right?
Yeah,
so we're heavily incentive driven. But yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, small steps, having access and being able to learn these small tips and steps is a big thing. But yeah, I agree. Let's make a mandatory 1 p.m. step break.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Okay. So you might want to clip this.
I don't know where it's going.
What advice do you have when you live in a household and you're the fit one, but the other people that live in the household are massively unfit and unhealthy?
Massively.
So I have a friend that worked with me for a while that was in this predicament. I mean, I wouldn't call the family massively unhealthy, but she was like extremely into fitness. She had just got into the training space as far as like working as a trainer, but she had been on her own journey for years. And she was away. She moved back home into a home with a family that bakes and cooks, and no desire to really do anything health and fitness related. They have a treadmill in the house, but it's a clothes rack. Like,
bruh, is that a thing? Why everybody do that?
Yes. So she struggles with this, but she decided she would take it on as a challenge. Like, it didn't deter her. She's very like strong-willed, so they was cooking and baking, and she could avoid, not indulging in them. But she took it on as a challenge to like get her parents walking and get her sister walking with her, like getting them active. And I mean, she wasn't super successful, but she took it on as a challenge. And I think it can be hard. I don't know if you're asking it from the point of the fit person struggling because of the family.
I mean, just overall how they deal with that dynamic.
I think it depends. I think everyone's a bit different. So I grew up in a very health conscious family. I married somebody that was in the bodybuilding space, so they can understand. Like, if I prep and don't bring home no pizza, like don't play me like that, right? But you have some people that are on a health, to the less extreme, that are on a health and fitness journey or a weight loss journey, and their family knows, but they would still bring home all the treats and all the stuff and leave it in the kitchen, leave it in the fridge, knowing that it's gonna tempt them or whatever. So I think everyone's dynamic is a little different. I think you have to acknowledge what that dynamic is and then try best to navigate and have those conversations. Like I had to tell my husband this year prep, his daughter comes with us every other weekend, and so sometimes he'll order her food, whatever. They brought home a pizza. I was like early in prep. They brought home a pizza. I was maybe 4 weeks in. And like, listen, I ain't a big pizza person, but if you buy it and it's sitting in the kitchen, I can eat a slice. So I'm like looking at this pizza, and I instantly got like upset because I'm like, why would you bring pizza? I didn't say that, but I said to him, I said, hey, going forward, I don't care if y'all eat pizza, but can y'all like eat it? Not here. Like, y'all go out and eat it. Like, sit in the restaurant and eat it. So I don't see it because I know, as strong-willed as I am, like it's
hard.
It's emotionally draining to smell and see pizza in my kitchen, and I can't eat it. So I can stop myself from eating it, but I can be mad for the rest of the day, and nobody wants that. So I would say have those conversations if you're in a dynamic like that, like where you're on a journey, fitness journey, you are trying to avoid certain things, and your family may be bringing these things in. They may not be on board on the same wavelength as you. Have those conversations and try best to like work through those challenges. I know that may not go over as smooth for everybody, but like have the conversations and then see on your part how you could navigate too. Like, if on Friday nights they can have a spread, maybe you don't go home while the spread there. Maybe you find something else to do.
Wow.
Okay, what about another scenario? So your partner telling you what you going to the gym for. Who you trying to get sexy for? Right. And they home being a couch potato. Yeah. Like, how you tell that person to navigate that situation?
I would say that person has some insecurities, obviously. But if this is someone that you love and you want to stay with, like,
relationship advice,
have the conversations. Like, try to get to the root of the issue. Obviously, if that person is not on the same wavelength as far as working out, being active, like, I would say try to get them, even if they're not going for any aesthetic goal. Like, we know the benefits of like being a couch potato versus just moving your body more. Like, for avoiding those non-communicable diseases like cancer, high blood pressure, all that stuff. Like, you know the benefits. And I tell people, try to spin it in a way, not so much like you need to do this for your health, but like if it's your significant other, like, you know, I love you and I want you to be around for a long time and I want you to be in good health. And I want, like, if you love me, you should want to be healthy for me. Yeah. Like, you can't be your best self if you on the verge of diabetes. Like, like at the end, if you want to answer that question, they say, what you going to do to work out for? Like, I need the mental release. I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. You know, bring kids in the mix. I want to be healthy for my kids or for my future kids. I eventually want kids, and that requires a healthy, strong body. So, I mean, you know, there's ways to finesse the conversation that are all true.
There you go, Justin.
Right? It ain't gotta be well, I getting sexy because whatever. Like, it ain't gotta be no like snappy conversation, but like find the angle that is gonna go over as smoothly as possible. That's also true, and there's a lot of different ones. Like, we know the benefits of working out goes beyond aesthetics. So like, looking good is a byproduct of working out, but like, you need the heart health, you need, you know, the endorphin release. Like, there's so many other benefits too. So yeah, try to highlight those instead of the aesthetics, if that's the angle that person is coming.
Because sometimes I just be like,
they sound like asking for
This is definitely advice.
No, because sometimes I just be like, I just look on my Instagram feed and I'm like, how you letting your partner go sweat up and get, you know, perfect they sexy with you home? You know,
teach his own. If they comfortable where they at. My thing is, if you comfortable where you at and you happy where you at, that's one thing. Don't try to stop me because I'm not, or I'm trying to be better. Like, that's the issue that I have with that dynamic. Like, and I have clients like that, like people that they've been on their journey for years and they're trying to get their significant other to do something, even if it's not the same thing they're doing. But their significant other also is not hindering them from doing what they're doing. I'm like, I could, like, as much as I want them, their partner, to also embark on a journey of their own, like, I'm also happy they're not standing in the way of that person's journey, you know? Yeah.
Most definitely. I ain't got no more questions.
I was waiting for the next one. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but that's a big issue though. Like, you have people that, like, I know divorces have happened from bodybuilders, like, because of that dynamic of one person's in prep and the other one don't want to bend. Don't want to, for the next 4 months, doesn't want to stop eating
whatever
that Chinese on Fridays. Yeah.
One partner getting more attention, added attention than the other, and they can't deal with that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's the insecurity. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with them. They can't help. They look good. I mean, I guess they could. I guess they could. But
one last final question we have, tradition on the show. We want to ask what it is you're most fanatical about in your life right now.
What am I most fanatical about in my life? That's a deep question.
Yeah, man.
What am I most fanatical about? I would say evolving. I am most fanatical about evolving and growing in all areas of my life. That's my personal life, my relationships, the people that I'm connected with, in business. Like, I just feel like, you know, if you ain't growing, you ain't evolving, then what are you doing? What's the purpose? Like, that should be the goal until we leave, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like at the end of the year, you're always charged up about like what's coming up next. So I'm excited about just continual growth and continual evolution.
Cool. It sounds
What are you most fanatical about?
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I don't want to say the same answer.
One of the things you're most fanatical about.
One of the things. Just building this podcast, I would say.
Hey.
How
long have you had the podcast now? I know you have a lot of episodes.
Yeah, we've been going since 2020.
Nice.
Started in the pandemic.
I admire the consistency.
Baby. Yeah, I mean, we try now. We're trying to get it better every day. It's like, what can we get better at? Like, what small area is there to just
and that's
allow
evolution.
it to progress? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to say the same answer, but I ended up there.
It's fine.
I ended up there somehow.
That's the foundation of being goal oriented, being driven.
Exactly. Yeah. And it sounds like even with those answers that we just getting started. So,
Yeah.
there's still more room to grow, still
Always.
room to get better. So we appreciate you for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. I know Justin appreciates it. But yeah, that's another episode of Fanatic Islanders. I hope you all appreciated it, and we will get you in the next one. Thank you again, Mr. Dekel Quant, Bowflex Barbie.
You.
Tell them where they can follow you at.
Sure. So you can connect with me on Instagram at Bowflex Barbie, on TikTok at Bowflex.Barbie. What else am I on? YouTube at Bowflex Barbie Fit TV. And my website is bowflexbarbie.com.
All right. There you have it. We'll see you all in the next one.
Bye.